Our planet faces a crisis. It is not far off in the future. It is happening now. Plastic pollution is choking our world from the deepest oceans to the highest mountains. We produce over 400 million tons of plastic every year. This is 4 times more than we did just 30 years ago. Plastic waste is everywhere. We see it littering our streets and beaches, but it also lurks unseen in the air we breathe and the water we drink. This crisis affects every living thing on Earth. The time to act is now. We must reduce our reliance on plastic. We must find ways to manage the waste we produce. The future of our planet depends on it. This is not someone else's problem. It is a problem for all of us. The ocean is the lifeblood of our planet. It regulates our climate, provides us with food, and supports a vast array of life. But today, the ocean is under threat from plastic pollution. Every day, the equivalent of 2,000 garbage trucks full of plastic enters our oceans. This plastic chokes marine life from tiny plankton to giant whales. Seabirds mistake plastic for food, filling their stomachs with indigestible material. Coral reefs, the rainforests of the sea, are suffocating under a blanket of plastic. These ecosystems are vital for the health of the ocean. Their loss would be catastrophic. The plastic we dump in the ocean does not simply disappear. It breaks down into smaller and smaller pieces, microplastics, which contaminate the entire marine food web. Microplastics are tiny particles of plastic, less than 5 millimeters in size. They are everywhere, infiltrating every corner of our planet. They are in the water we drink, the food we eat, and even the air we breathe. These particles are so small that they can easily pass through filtration systems, making their way into our daily lives. These tiny particles come from the breakdown of larger plastic items. Over time, exposure to sunlight, wind, and water causes these items to fragment into smaller and smaller pieces. They also come from microbeads, tiny plastic spheres added to cosmetics and personal care products. These microbeads are often washed down the drain, ending up in our water systems. Microplastics absorb toxins from the environment. These toxins include heavy metals, pesticides, and other harmful chemicals which can cling to the surface of the plastic particles. These toxins can accumulate in the food chain, posing a potential threat to human health. When marine animals ingest microplastics, these toxins can be transferred up the food chain, eventually reaching humans. The long-term effects of microplastic ingestion on human health are still being studied. Researchers are working tirelessly to understand the full impact of these particles on our bodies. However, there is growing concern about their potential to disrupt hormones, cause inflammation, and even lead to cancer. The presence of microplastics in our bodies could have far-reaching consequences. The problem of microplastic pollution is only going to get worse. With the continuous production and disposal of plastic, the amount of microplastics in our environment is expected to increase. We need to act now to reduce our plastic consumption and prevent these harmful particles from entering our environment. Simple actions like using reusable bags and bottles and participating in community cleanups can make a significant difference. The plastic crisis is not just an environmental disaster. It is a multifaceted issue that impacts every corner of our planet. From the deepest oceans to the highest mountains, plastic waste is everywhere. It is also fueling the climate crisis, exacerbating the already critical situation we face with global warming and climate change. The production, transportation, and disposal of plastic all contribute significantly to greenhouse gas emissions. Each stage of the plastic life cycle, from manufacturing to disposal, releases harmful gases into the atmosphere. Most plastic is made from fossil fuels like oil and gas. The extraction and processing of these materials are energy intensive and environmentally damaging. Extracting and refining these fossil fuels releases harmful pollutants into the atmosphere, contributing to air pollution and climate change. The transportation of plastic products around the world also requires vast amounts of energy, further contributing to emissions. Cargo ships, trucks, and planes all burn fossil fuels, adding to the carbon footprint. When plastic is incinerated, it releases harmful toxins into the air, including carbon dioxide, a major greenhouse gas. This process not only pollutes the air but also poses health risks to nearby communities. As plastic breaks down in landfills, it releases methane, another potent greenhouse gas. Methane is significantly more effective at trapping heat in the atmosphere than carbon dioxide, making it a critical factor in global warming. We must reduce our reliance on plastic. Simple actions like refusing single-use plastics and opting for reusable alternatives can make a big difference. We must transition to a circular economy where plastic is reused and recycled and ultimately phased out. This approach not only conserves resources, but also reduces the environmental impact. This will not only reduce plastic pollution, but also help combat climate change. By taking collective action, we can create a healthier planet for future generations. Section 5. The roots of the problem. The plastic crisis is, well, it's a symptom of a larger problem, our throwaway culture. This culture has been ingrained in our daily lives, making it seem almost normal to use something once and then toss it away without a second thought. We live in a society that honestly values convenience over sustainability. Fast food restaurants, for instance, provide plastic utensils and containers because they are cheap and easy. Shoppers often opt for plastic bags because they are readily available and free. We're encouraged to buy more than we need, and we're quick to discard items that are no longer useful. This behavior is not just limited to individuals. Businesses and industries also contribute significantly to this cycle of waste. The overproduction of single-use plastics is, without a doubt, a major driver of the crisis. Factories churn out millions of plastic items every day, flooding the market with products that are designed to be used briefly and then discarded. These are items designed to be used only once and then thrown away, such as plastic bags, which are often used for just a few minutes, but can take hundreds of years to decompose. Bottles and packaging. These items are ubiquitous in our daily lives, yet their environmental impact is devastating. The problem is compounded by inadequate waste management systems. Many regions lack the infrastructure to properly handle and recycle plastic waste, leading to overflowing landfills and pollution. In many parts of the world, plastic waste is simply dumped in landfills or incinerated, releasing harmful pollutants into the environment. This not only affects the air we breathe, but also contaminates soil and water sources, releasing harmful pollutants into the environment. The toxins released from burning plastic can cause serious health issues for nearby communities and contribute to global warming. We need to rethink our relationship with plastic. It's crucial to understand that every small action counts, from refusing single-use plastics to participating in community cleanup efforts. We need to move away from a linear economy where resources are extracted, used and discarded, to a circular economy where resources are kept in use for as long as possible. This means designing products that can be reused, repaired and recycled, thus minimizing waste and conserving resources where resources are kept in use for as long as possible. By adopting a circular economy, we can significantly reduce the environmental impact of plastic waste and create a more sustainable future for generations to come. Section 6, Turning the Tide. Actions for everyone. The plastic crisis may seem overwhelming, but there are things we can all do to make a difference. Every small action counts. By making changes in our daily lives, we can reduce our plastic footprint and contribute to a healthier planet. One of the simplest things we can do is to refuse single-use plastics whenever possible. Carry a reusable water bottle and coffee cup. Use reusable bags when shopping. Choose products with minimal plastic packaging. Support businesses and organizations that are working to reduce plastic waste. Choose products made from recycled materials. Compost food waste to reduce the amount of plastic going to landfills. Remember, every piece of plastic we refuse, reduce, reuse or recycle is a victory for the planet. Section 7. Systemic solutions for a global challenge. Individual actions are important, but to truly tackle the plastic crisis, we need systemic change. Governments and businesses must take responsibility for the problem and implement policies that promote sustainability. Extended Producer Responsibility, or EPR, schemes hold manufacturers accountable for the entire life cycle of their products, including their disposal. This encourages them to design products that are more durable, reusable and recyclable. Bans on certain single-use plastics, such as plastic bags and straws, have been successful in reducing plastic waste in many countries. Investing in infrastructure for waste management, including recycling facilities and composting programs, is crucial. Promoting the development and use of bioplastics made from renewable resources like plants is another important solution. Bioplastics can be biodegradable or compostable, offering a more sustainable alternative to conventional plastics. Section 8. A global call for change. The plastic crisis is a global problem that requires a global solution. International cooperation is essential to address the issue effectively. Thankfully, there are promising initiatives underway. The United Nations Environment Assembly is working towards a legally binding treaty to end plastic pollution. This treaty aims to address the entire life cycle of plastic, from production to disposal. Many countries are implementing their own initiatives to reduce plastic waste. For example, the European Union has banned certain single-use plastics and introduced measures to promote the use of recycled plastics. These global efforts are a sign of hope. They demonstrate that the world is waking up to the urgency of the plastic crisis and taking steps to address it. Section 9. Our shared responsibility. The plastic crisis is a daunting challenge, but it is not insurmountable. By working together, we can turn the tide on plastic pollution and create a healthier planet for ourselves and future generations. We must remember that we are all connected to the ocean, no matter where we live. The plastic we dump in our rivers and streams eventually makes its way to the sea, impacting marine life and ultimately ourselves. Let us all commit to reducing our plastic footprint. Let us support businesses and organizations that are working towards a more sustainable future. Let us demand action from our leaders. The time for complacency is over. The time for action is now. Together, we can create a world without plastic pollution.